Morning, Martin.
Hi Gary, how are you?
How are you, pal?
Very good.
Yeah. Have you recovered after your trip?
Yeah, it probably took me a week or so.
Did it?
Yeah, it's shall we say it's behind me now?
Would you do it again?
Well, I am actually doing another leg. Um, I will go to Anaheim. I'll fly across America to Washington, and then I'll sail back from Washington to the UK.
All
Um,
right.
so I'm doing another leg. Would I do that leg again? I think you've got to be a bit of a nutter really
Right.
to go and repeat something like that. You'd have to be a professional sailor. It's your career because it's not pleasant.
No. And how many days you at sea?
It was 23 days we were at sea.
That's a long time at sea.
It is, and it's on a watch system, so there's no downtime at all.
Mm.
You come on watch, so you're getting up. If it's a meal time, you're getting up an hour before you go on watch to eat and get dressed. You do your watch, and then when you come off watch, you've got to get your gear off. So you sort yourself out. That I would say is anything up to 20 minutes. And during the day, it's a 6 hour watch. At night, it's a 4 hour watch. So at night time, you're barely getting in your bunk and you're getting out again.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you have
there is,
deprivation.
yeah, yeah. Well, you get to what I term functional exhaustion. You can't get any more tired. Um, but it's certainly you become very much aware of the limiting beliefs you have when you got your feet on the ground. We all put caps on our capability, um, but we've all got way more in the tank.
Mm. Yeah. Well, we say that when you read that book I read. I can't remember what it's called now. He was at TOT, and he wrote to the Navy SEAL guy and asked him to come and spend a month with him.
Yeah, can't hurt me.
Yeah,
Definitely,
can't remember his name now. And
definitely.
he said, when you think you're done, you've probably got another 30% left in the tank.
Uh, More, I would say.
Right.
But let's not spoil the story because
No.
I think you're on first. Michael will confirm that, and then Sarah. Then I'll just finish it off.
And Ian Gawley on as well, I read.
It's a bit of a cock up, really. That was me not being in the meeting because I was in an ocean.
Oh,
But
right, okay.
it's renewal time of the year. Um, so if you haven't renewed your membership, Gary, Michael, Charles, if you're listening, now's the time.
I have. All right, Mr. B.
All good here, thanks.
Good. You doing any more Ironmans and shit like that?
Done a little bit of that, this and that, yeah. And we've got to keep going with Martin doing all this crazy stuff. We've got to
Well, yeah,
keep going.
Martin's took over you as a crazy man now, Michael,
Oh yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
And he's got more to come, apparently,
Boy's just getting started.
isn't it? Not bad for 70-year-old, is it?
No, you wouldn't think it.
Just hope the technology works. My end, it's not my favourite subject when I share my screen and get the slides up.
Oh, don't worry, Gary. It's not about the slides. It's about your message. It's about you.
Yeah, but slides are part of it.
Well, if you get tangled up, just tango on. And just remember, you're only at 40%.
We're all flying in now.
Hey, hey.
How are you doing?
Great. It's lovely hot weather down here.
Piss off. We're expecting a storm here.
Oh, no, Gary.
Oh, I
Urgh.
know. I know. I should be over there watching the cricket, watching it. The pond's
Watching the
getting
cricket.
battered.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably not on now. It's the sun's just setting. It's nearly 9 p.m. at night here.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you gave us a right battering anyway, haven't you?
Yeah, I won't say anything about any sports at all because we're just amazing.
Oh, shut up. Like you then, Sarah.
Oh, Gary, good on you, mate. I'll message you later and say thanks. And you're a hero, aren't you, Martin? What a great trip.
Yes, it was interesting, shall we say?
Can't wait to hear about it, Martin. You could do a snapshot of all your picks.
I have some pictures, but as you can imagine, in that environment, you don't take many pictures.
No. I'd like to have a look at them.
Sure.
Gary would find a way, Mart. Gary would find a way.
Huh?
You love a picture, Gash. You'd have found a way to take a photo, wouldn't you, mate?
Got your Everton shirt on, Craigie?
Ah, I still got to wear it, mate. Still got to wear it, haven't you? Despite last night's crap.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you
But
can't say flip ball, yeah.
no, we're a joke. Horrendous.
You ready, boys? You're going to inspire me?
Of course.
Good.
You don't expect anything else, would you, Craig?
I absolutely wouldn't, mate. No.
There you go.
That's why I'm here early, waiting.
In anticipation. Have a good New Year.
Same old shit, innit?
Yeah. Same old shit.
I don't go out New Year's, mate, because I can't stand all the falseness of it.
I went out in the afternoon, had a few, fell asleep then. It was in bed at 11. Can't do it these days.
Just
Don't
these
believe
days.
that, Gary.
Sarah,
You okay?
how are you, party animal?
I'm all right, thanks.
You're looking good.
Thank you. Back in the gym. It's killing me everywhere.
Didn't expect anything else from you, Hogan. I bet you were partying over Christmas and New Year, weren't you?
Before Christmas, I
Yeah.
did go out New Year, to be fair, but before Christmas, by the time I've got to Christmas, I've had enough. I'm ready for a break then. So
Chill out.
yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. I like the run up, probably better, really.
Yeah. Once it gets to kind of Christmas week, I'm ready for it to just be chilled and eat cheese and drink wine.
Guys, we'll just give it another couple of minutes because maybe some of the gang are still in that party mode. So a couple more minutes, then we'll start.
Hello, you. Can you hear me?
Just while we're waiting, I think Kate Gannon deserves a bit of respect and kudos, as I understand she has qualified for TOT this year.
Oh, brilliant.
Fantastic. And I think Kate is a brand new member.
Good
Amazing.
morning with a flu. Sorry.
Don't worry.
Come armed.
Don't sneeze over your screen, Kate. You'll be all right.
Morning, Craig.
Oh,
Has anyone not had the lurgy so far? That's the big question.
No, I've stayed free.
as he wipes his nose.
No.
Okay, I suggest without further ado, let's crack on. There's a few running noses, there's a few tired eyes from New Zealand out there. So yeah, welcome one and all. Happy New Year to you and yours. Hope you had a great 2025. It's gone. Everything you did, that was great, but it doesn't matter what we did yesterday. It matters what we do today. So in that light, I think we have a first. We have the current UK chair, and we have two former MDRT UK chairs about to sprinkle some New Year's magic over Zoom. So first off, we have the esteemed Sarah Hogan. Sarah is a chartered financial planner, fellow of the Personal Finance Society, and the owner and director of KBA, the financial planning company. Since taking a majority share in 2016, she has grown the business more than 500%. That isn't a typo. She has raised it by 500%. So to raise the ceiling, to raise us to 500%, welcome, Sarah Hogan.
Well, what do you want for breakfast, Claire?
That wasn't me. That was somebody asking somebody what they want for breakfast. Right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for that introduction. Let me just share my screen. And oh, it's sending a request. Somebody will have to approve that, I think. There we go. Thank you. Let's get the presentation. You can all see that? Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Brilliant. Okay, so as I said there, thank you for that introduction. So this is not a sales pitch for MDRT. This is a reality check as to why, if you haven't got on a plane and gone to America yet, if you haven't been to the events, and if you haven't engaged with what I feel are some of the best advisors in the UK space, and it's really time to ask yourself, why not? There are objections that we all tell ourselves. You know, Mikey just said 2025 is behind us. It's about what we're going to do going forward. And there's objections we all tell ourselves, and there's some truth in them. And then we especially tell ourselves them when life is really full. Now, I've been a member of MDRT since 2017. And for 3 years after that, life was busy, but relatively normal. So I was married. It was pre-COVID. I had just taken over the majority share in the business and was trying to grow it. And actually, that was what the driving force was for me joining MDRT in the first place. Another advisor who was very successful and well known in the industry very kindly agreed to meet me in his office, which was breakfast at Claridge's, would you believe, back in 2016, and told me that I should join MDRT. Wasn't something I was familiar with, but then I went to one of the UK events and thought, wow, you know, this really cuts through the compliance, some of the nonsense, let's be honest, that we're having UK financial services, when actually all we want to do is go and help our clients. And it just filled me up, and I thought, I need more of this. Next thing I knew, a few months later, maybe a little bit crazy, definitely nervous. I was on a plane out to Orlando, didn't know anybody at all. So fast forward that to a number of years, and we had to contend with COVID, with virtual meetings. I went through divorce during that time. I've had major operations. I've had 3 hip replacements by the age of 40. I've not got 3 hips, by the way. I had to have one done twice. And I'm now a single mum of 2 girls who I have slightly more than 50% of the time. But the only time I've missed an MDRT conference was when the doctor said I couldn't fly. And it's the first thing that goes into my calendar as soon as the dates are released. So the question is, why is it that more people in the UK are not going? And I want to explore some of those obstacles that we tell ourselves versus actually what is on the other side. So every obstacle has a response. There's a few things that people think about MDRT and they don't always say them out loud. They're not wrong, but they're not the full story either. So let's break down some of these obstacles. You could call them excuses, really, but we'll be a little bit more PC today versus what is the reframe. So as anybody knows, when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, you have a new comfort zone. Whatever it is, whatever that obstacle is, not just with MDRT, but with everything, whatever that is, that story that you're telling yourself, and in this case, with engaging with MDRT, really ask yourself, does it have any truth to it? It probably does. As I said, there's truth in everything. Sorry about that. There's truth in everything. So, but it is not the whole story. Okay, so let's see about reframing some of these obstacles. So it's an expense. It is an expense. Okay, it is true. It's not free. But the reality is that we invest in staff, we invest in systems, we invest in technology. And actually, if you really ask yourself, the biggest leverage point in any business is the quality of the decision making, particularly of the founder. Now, whether you are, this is on a timer, I think, just bear with me one moment. Oh, hang on a moment. Let me just start that on the timer, otherwise it'll be going quicker than I am, which is rare. There Take those off. There we go. Let's try that again. Round 2, tick, tick, tick. Show. There we go. So the biggest leverage point in any business is the quality of the decision making. Now, you might not be an owner or a founder in the business, and it doesn't matter because your business is a little business within somebody else's business, and that is the point. So seriously ask yourself, when did your biggest breakthroughs come through? When did your best ideas come through? I bet you it wasn't when you were working in the business in back-to-back client meetings. It was when you were by the pool, in the car, out for a walk, in a seminar, when you've got that thinking time. Now, I've invested a lot in myself over the years. I'm chartered, I'm a fellow, MDRT, strategic coach, Brett Davidson, Grant Cardone, not to mention multiple other things in between. And never have I regretted the decision to invest in myself. When my business took the biggest upturn, it's when I've spent more time along other professionals, the people on this call, other people that have done the things that I want to do so that I could learn from them. The biggest shifts in your business are not going to come from a product or a system. They're going to come from the perspective, the decisions, and seeing how other people do it at a higher level. Just remember, one idea from that conference would repay that expensive investment multiple times over. It's American. It is American. But it's a different market, it's different scale, it's different cultures. And yes, that objection has some truth in it. So what? It's American. You might not like Donald Trump, but does that mean that everything out of America is bad? How many other things that come out of America that we all use on a daily basis? How many drinks do you drink that come out of America? AI that you're using probably has originated, or whatever it's been based on, was originated in America. You possibly travel to America, just not for a conference. So why does it make any difference that it's American? Yes, they're a little bit more sales focused in the UK, than in the UK. Let's call a spade a spade. But is that really a bad thing? What's wrong with selling? Are you not selling every single day, every time you see a client, every time you do a review? Are you not selling your services for another 12 months? Just because they're commission basis and we're fee basis, they're more sales focused. That doesn't mean that there's nothing that you can pick up from being in America. But the reality is, if you reframe that it's actually worldwide. Okay, so principles are universal. Leadership, discipline, client trust, sales ideas, process, none of that is uniquely American. You're not copying something that the Americans are doing. You're taking ideas and you're adapting your thinking. The presentations at the MDRT events, the conferences, global conferences, top of the table, the annual meeting, they're done by people from all over the world. People come from 60 countries to be at one of the biggest financial planning conferences in the world. You tell me where you get that exposure to that level of ideas. We have a relatively small membership in the UK, but yet we've got a really impactful membership. The Australians as well, we're leading the way in fee-based financial planning so that other countries are learning from us, as well as us learning from other countries. It's happy clappy. We hear that a lot. It is. It's unapologetically happy clappy. But for anybody that's been to America, whether you've been to Disney, whether you've been to New York, whether you've been to California, anywhere else, lots of places in America have very, very different personalities, which sometimes, most of the time, you can't help but get caught up in some of that enthusiasm that they do have over there. This is no different. You don't need to go around high-fiving everybody. That's not what this is about. But you will feel that energy that you do sometimes feel in a lot of areas in the US. And that's a great thing. Now, for us Brits with some stiffer upper lips, it might feel a little bit strange to be so excited, but is it really a bad thing? The high energy, the big stages, the big personalities, it can put people off, but you can soak up as much or as little of that happy clappy as you like. You can get fully involved and jump 100% in, or you can keep yourself to yourself and just go to the sessions that you want to go to. But to be honest, to get the full MDRT experience, getting involved, certainly with your fellow UK members, coming to the evening events, getting involved in the volunteering that goes on, it will only enhance your experience as you understand more of what MDRT is about, and not just listening to the portrayal of it that somebody said something to you when they heard about MDRT 50 years ago and never have actually been to a conference. It might be happy clappy, but it is business focused. So you can focus on the fact that it's happy clappy, or you can focus on reframing that and look at the business focus. Because the reality is numbers matter, sales matter, execution matters. Wins are celebrated within MDRT because our standards are higher. And these are all things that you learn from MDRT, including getting involved at a volunteer level, getting involved on some of the committee meetings where they could fly you out to Chicago if you're lucky, so that you can share ideas with people from all over the world. Things that you'll learn from being, for example, a chair of the UK, a chair in one of the committee meetings, or volunteering in different roles that will help you grow your business. You'll become subject to things by getting involved in that community with MDRT that you don't get the experience of within your business, particularly if you're a practice financial advisor, particularly if you're a sole trader. And that's if you want to get involved at that level. I don't have time. This is a really common one, especially for people that are already successful. But have you ever heard the saying, if you want something done, ask a busy person? Life is busy, but let's be honest, we could work in this industry 24/7, 365 days a year, and you still wouldn't get everything done. And if you're a growth-orientated person, which I imagine we all are, then even if by some miracle you got it all done, you go and find something else to do. That's the type of people that we are. So it's not about time, it's about priorities. There is never going to be enough time. But can you take 1 week out of a year of 52 weeks, have intensive personal development that week, and come back with a number of ideas that make the other 51 weeks a little bit easier? That makes sense, doesn't it? Surely that is the question that you should be asking yourself. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. It's about how we spend them. In my life, I work incredibly long hours on the weeks that I don't have my children, because on the weeks when I do have my children, I want to be there when they get home from school. I want to be there to put them on the bus in the morning. And we have a multitude of music lessons and dance and guides and all these different things to attend at the evenings and the weekends. So I spend 1 week running around with a 13-year-old going on 30 and an 11-year-old who is very much a mini-me. So you all know what that means. And I spend the other week incredibly busy with a growing business with 5 sites, 30 staff, lots of clients, and trying to get from looking after 160 million in AUM and 400 million in client savings, because I run 3 Yorkshire Building Society agencies as well, to £1 billion in managed AUM in 10 years. And yet I still managed to find that time. So how else do you break the cycle? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Staying busy is not the same as moving forward. Being busy and being productive are 2 very, very different things. I had a conversation earlier this week with a member of my team who likes to ensure that everything is ticked off a to-do list every day. I said, it's just a dream. It's never going to happen. And the reality is, why would you want it to? The goal shouldn't be to tick everything off your to-do list. The goal should be to hit your targets, be productive and keep growing. If you've lived the same year every year in this industry for 20 years, I'm sorry, but you've not got 20 years experience. You've got 1 year's experience, reran 20 times. So what are you doing to make sure that this year, next year, the year after are different to last year? Remember, anything that's healthy grows. So if you're not growing as a person or as a business, then you're actually going backwards. So are you going to relive that same year this year? Or is it trying to do something different and break that mold? So how do you actually make this work? This is the unasked question, especially when you've got children, you've got real life going on. And whenever I do any presentations or anything, somebody said it to me on a book club last night. They're like, I don't know how you do it. And sometimes I'll reply with a lot of coffee and a little bit of wine, sometimes with a lot of wine and a little bit of coffee. But the reality is it comes from being very focused and very, very organised. Because I don't try and be brilliant every week. I decide what matters annually and then work backwards. If you're writing a 3-year business plan or a 12-month business plan, or you're writing a goal of where you want to be at the end of the year, you'd say it's December 2026 and I've done X. And then you break it down into quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily goals if you're that brave. Whatever the goals are, and then the actions that are required to get you where you need to be. And that's the way I work my year. I can tell you what I'm doing every single week of this year, probably off the top of my head. That might sound a bit much for some people. And that's not to say I don't have time to be spontaneous, because there's time in the diary that says keep this free. You know, there's genuine free time, in the words of Strategic Coach, with 24 hours with absolutely no work in there. There's not many of them, I might add, but there is some genuine downtime there. I travel more than most, and some of that travel is part of MDRT when I'm speaking at other events. What a fantastic way, ultimately, to see the world. But the reality is my 2026 wall planner is done. I can see it right here on my wall. My 2026 marketing calendar is done, and all my events that I need to attend for the business are in the diary as of now. My MDRT events are in. My time with my kids are in. My appointment slots for the first 3 months of the year are in, so that my personal assistant only books meeting in those slots. And I've made sure there's enough slots in to hit my weekly goals. Our weekly pulse meetings are in because we follow the traction method in EOS. Everything else that is important goes in the diary first, and then I fill everything else around it. I'm well aware that my setup with my ex-husband is not the norm, particularly for the female side following a divorce when being 50-50. Therefore, I'm very, very strict on ensuring that the things I commit to don't impact the girls. As an example, when we go out to California in June, they are 2 weeks there when I'm away. So I've got my kids for the 2 weeks before. My ex-husband will do the 2 weeks whilst I'm away. But that actually means that I am out of the business for 4 weeks, really, because I've got the kids for 2 weeks, one of which we're away for half term. And then I'm in California with you lovely people for 2 weeks as well. And I'm still committed to do that because I know that that time is going to be worth it for the rest of the year and beyond. So it's not about balance, it's about seasons. I'm an avid believer that you can have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time. Sometimes the business takes over, sometimes the family takes over, sometimes health takes over. Sometimes social life takes over, sometimes client work takes over, and sometimes working on the business takes over, and you've got to be okay with that. But over the course of the year, if you've organised your year properly, it will even out. I run my personal life in the same way as we run our 90-day world for EOS. So my entire life is on the 90 system that we use in order to make sure that that runs effectively. Now that sounds like it might be a little bit too much for some people, but ultimately that's what's required for somebody running a business of my size with 2 young children, trying to fit everything in to make sure you don't drop the ball over that time frame. I didn't need to be as organised when I was a practice financial planner with no children and I just had my own life to organise. But at this point, it takes some serious organisation, but I still do it because it's still worth it. From time to time, you will drop a ball. What's really important is you don't drop a glass ball. If you drop a rubber ball, something at work potentially, it'll bounce. If you drop a glass ball, something like your health, it will smash. And those are the things that you've got to think about. What are the glass balls that you've got to make sure that you protect? Ultimately, personal development is a family decision. And what I mean by that, it's better thinking leads to better decisions reduce pressure, and that reduces pressure everywhere. So this is not indulgent going to MDRT, it's preventative. If you want to be the best at something, you've got to appreciate that something's got to give. That might mean making the decision to do a course, go to MDRT, get chartered, and you might not be as present in other areas of your life. And sometimes you've got to be okay with that because you can't be 100% everywhere for everybody all the time. What I will say is if you're absolutely adamant that what you're working on by building your business or whatever your goal is, whatever your obsession is, that by getting there, you'll create a better world for the people that you love, then why would you not do it? If that means you've got time to make better decisions, to put better processes in place, so there's reduced pressure in the future because the business is running better without you, which means you're in a better place in 18 months' time, why would you not take that step back, ultimately, to go forward? There was a point in business when the pressure was high, when my children were young, and I could have opted out. I could have stepped back instead of leaning in, but standing still has a cost. And that decision has reduced the pressure over the long term. The most stressful time in my life was when I just opened my first Yorkshire Building Society in October 2019. My girls were 7 and 5 at the time. And then that was October. Then in the January 2020, I decided to separate from my husband. And then in March 2020, COVID hit. I was locked down with my ex-husband, with a new office to run, a building society no less, which I knew nothing about, had to learn all over again, 2 children to homeschool, a load of emotions on top of the COVID emotions that everybody else was having. And it was without a doubt the most stressful time in my life. I could have walked away from opening that office and I could have stayed in a relationship I wasn't happy with. But standing still has a cost. And the people on this MDRT call got me through the most difficult time in my life when nobody else could understand what I was going on. People like Kath, Jane, Helen, Craig, Gary, Andy, Amanda, multiple other people got me through and gave me the support. And even though I didn't know them particularly well at that point. So, and this is part of the whole person concept as well, what MDRT is all about. It's not about dedicating your entire life to work. It's about work, family, spiritual and charity, and ensuring that you have a fulfilled life in all areas. And the people on this call will help you get there. I can't stress enough, making the decision to get more involved with the MDRT world will only be a positive one. So I hope you think about everything that I said and really, really ask yourself, why are you not on that plane to Anaheim in June this year? What is it that's holding you back? What story are you telling yourself as to why you're not going? And what have you got to lose? The worst thing that can happen is you'll go to fabulous California for a week in June, meet some fabulously fun people, including myself. And if you don't get anything from it, which will be an absolute first, then all you've done is given up a week of your time to try something to see if it'll have an impact on your business and your life and make it better. The flip side is that it could work and it will work and you'll get tens of ideas. You can make some friends that are genuine friends for life and you can have an absolutely fabulous time. You can learn to grow your business with a support system around you, with peer groups, without all the noise that we get in the UK financial services. And the people that you meet that have done everything that you want to do, that have resolved every issue that you've got, are open and willing to help you get where you want to be. So what's stopping you? Let's book the flights and I'll see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Hogan, or 3 Hip Hogan, as you're
new name.
Listen, thanks very much for that. Some really great questions. And I should just say, in the interest of health and safety, when Sarah says a lot of coffee and a little wine, or a lot of wine, a little coffee, she does not mean in the same glass. Okay. Sarah, thanks so much. Yeah, great questions. Yeah, why aren't you on that plane? Thank you. So, Sarah there touched upon charity, and what I'd like to do next is, in a nice segue, introduce Gary Metcalf. As he says himself in the bit he's told me to say, Gary Metcalf, the man, the myth, the legend, the oldest swinger in town. He's been in this great profession for 35 years. Member of MDRT for 13, top of the table for 12 years. He was also a UK chair. Gary would like to talk to us about how being successful isn't enough. Gary Metcalf.
Thank you, Michael. Follow that. Hogan, bloody hell. Right, here we go. Let's bear with me. Tech is not my best, people. So it's not. Bear with me. I'm doing it my way. Don't laugh, Craig. Okay, thank you, Michael, for the introduction. Setting expectations dangerously high as normal. No pressure at all after that. I'm following Hogan. I should say up front, I haven't cracked it. I'm just further down the road. What I want to share today isn't theory. It's what helped me stay energized, relevant, and still genuinely love this job, this profession, I should say, through markets, regulation, technology, and clients who Google everything. This profession isn't about winning one great year. It's about staying relevant for decades. And I've been in this profession for 35 years. First of all, I want to go back to the basics. And these are basics, but the best sales training I had was at Western Financial Group, where I met Craig, Chalky, and my fellow directors. This was back in the year 2000, 25 years ago. Craig was still wearing shorts. I learned to structure my diary by color coding my meetings, and I still do that now. Always put your personal things in first, like gym, days off, holidays, and build your week around you. I do that in blue. Review meetings I put in green, first meetings in yellow, closing meetings pink. Back in those days, we didn't have review meetings, but you want a mix of colours in a week. So when you wake up on a Monday morning, you can see what type of week you have just by looking at the colours. I also use the Dan Sullivan diary system. So focus days are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, meetings only. Buffer days, admin days, Monday and Friday, and 2 days off, Saturday and Sunday. Another valuable lesson I learned was never leave a meeting without booking another meeting. Let's say you see a client for the first time and they have 200,000 to invest, agree what you're going to do and book the next meeting, which is to close the business. That's easy if it's new money, but still do the same when it's a pension transfer. We know how long it takes for a pension transfer, but still book the second meeting in. You can always move it. Story from when I was in the Western days, this guy was doing a pension transfer. He never booked the second meeting. So when he rang the client sort of 6, 7, 8 weeks later, once he got the information, went, oh, we haven't heard from you. We haven't gone to the meeting booked. We've gone elsewhere. So it's always a reminder, always book the second meeting. Avoid burnout and have regular breaks. I pretty much have a break every month. Last year, I had 7 trips abroad and some other short breaks as well in the UK. This year, I've got 7 booked already. Despite the holidays, I did 195 review meetings, about 170,000 initial fees and 6.5 million funds under management. So with regular breaks means when you are working, you are focused on your work. How do I stay energized? I read Robin Sharma's book, The 5 a.m. Club. He talks about the 20-20-20 formula. That's 20 minutes exercise, 20 minutes mindfulness, and 20 minutes self-development. You do that as soon as you wake up. No looking at your phone, doing the most important thing first, which is exercise. If you wait till late in the day, too many things can happen which can distract you from doing your exercise. So I get up at 5 a.m. every single day. I use this all the time, the ideal investment portfolio. Whether you're investing 100,000 or a million, talk about the various tax wrappers and the advantages of each. I tell them how much I'm going to invest in each at the first meeting. I used to use the first four, then I introduced VCT. And it's amazing how many clients have not heard of a VCT, so you're demonstrating your knowledge. And I recently added BR, as now it's another allowance we all have. Where we add value, I took this from Carla Brown, adapted it slightly, and use it with new clients, as we are not good at articulating everything we do. And I think you'll all agree, we do shitloads for clients without realizing, and that's the value of advice. So if you want any of these, I'll ping them over to you. Over the years, I think we've become more of a life coach than an advisor, helping clients live their best life possible. We have one life, let's live it well. So following the TOT meeting last year and hearing the talk from Ben Nemtin about creating your own bucket list, we're going to create one and share it with our clients. And we're also going to write a book on how to create your own bucket list. Another value add, and I've spoken about this before, is in the event of death, your assets. I got the idea from an MDRT meeting. A lot of people have their username, passwords, all on scraps of paper. And this lady said, who knows your username and passwords if you pass away? I thought, she's got a point here. So in this book, in the middle of it, it's your digital asset inventory. You list all your social media, all your accounts, your emails, your username and passwords. Also in this book, it tells you what you should have with your will. Your legal papers, your personal information, financial accounts, other financial records, details about your property, your insurance policies. In there's about your funeral planning, and at the back is your people. Who's your executors? Who are your power of attorney? Who's your solicitor? Who's your chiropractor? Who's your dentist? Who's your doctor? Everything is in one place. So that's another value add that I give to clients. My business really started to change when we started to charge fees. I decided that I needed to do more than just an annual meeting. We have to earn this fee every single year, not justify it once. Ongoing fees demand ongoing relevance. So we hold client events. For the last 10 years, we've held a Gemini Golf Day. We have about 80 people playing. We used to get it sponsored in the good old days by insurance companies. Can't do that anymore. It costs around £10,000, but clients absolutely love it. Most bring a friend or 3 friends to make a 4-ball, so you get introduced to potential new clients. They have tea and coffee on arrival, bacon butty, drink served halfway round, the course, 2-course meal afterwards, and a free bar. Most importantly, we raise money for charity. Last year, we raised £10,500 for Dementia UK and PANS Pandas. In total, we've raised £52,000 over the last 10 years. And you'll certainly write business on the back of your golf days. But most of all, it creates value, and clients always talk about our golf day. I've done cricket days. Here you see 50 guys on the lash, having a good time. Some of those are clients, some of those are friends of mine, some are family, but it's another great day out, get people together, superb value at your local cricket club. I've done a couple of horse racing days. So a client said to me, Gary, you do all these things for the boys, what about us girls? So I thought, she's got a point here. So I thought, what can I do that involves couples? So for the last 2 years, I'm invited 8 couples, all of which are top clients. Had a great day. Also, clients love talking to each other. The total cost of the day was £1,600. The value was high. The clients who were there had 10 million of assets under management. And I'll do that again this year. They say people don't care how much you know until you show how much you care. So I've spoken a lot about this before on an MDRT Zoom call. I use books a lot with clients. After a client does business with me for the first time, I send them a book with this message: thank you for your business, and we look forward to working with you over the coming years. I try and find out what their interests are at the first meeting and send a book that's relevant. So you see there the Porsche, the 70-year story of Porsche. Client of mine at the second meeting, he couldn't wait to show me his shiny red Porsche in the garage. So I went on Amazon and found this book. But it's the messages that you get are crucial. So the message I got from this book was, we've just opened a large package from Gemini to find your incredible generous gift. Thank you so much. The Rachel Blackmore biography, I sent that just before Christmas. Met a client, she was into horses. She had pictures all around a house of horses. So I sent them Rachel Blackmore biography. Again, the message back: many thanks for my Rachel Blackmore biography. A very nice gesture and just up my street. I had a client who was into classic cars, so I sent him that. Somebody asked to support Birmingham City, so I sent them that. If they haven't really got an interest, then I use Chicken Soup for my soul book. But always send them a book that is relevant as can be. If you haven't read these 2 books, Die with Zero and How to Retire and Not Die, I suggest you do. I use these with clients all the time. I think Die with Zero is probably one of the best books I've ever read. 2 main takeaways in the book: give money to your children and charity when it has the most impact, which is now. Very relevant now, the IHT rules are changing regarding pensions. In the book, it said most people inherit in their 60s, as the age gap between parents and children is around 20-25 years. However, it would have more impact if they had the money earlier. It convinced me to help my children move to a bigger house. But make sure, if clients are giving large lumps of money to their children, they use a protected gifting trust, just in case. The second point talks about 3 time periods: 60s, 70s, and 80s. 60s he calls your go-go years, 70s slow go, 80s no-go. So basically I have 13 years left of fun. So as you can imagine, I'm going to give it my best shot. It's also great when you're doing cash flow to demonstrate that they need more money at the start of their retirement journey. I've sent 43 of these books out to clients and they love it, and it changes their mindset. And I've just finished reading How to Retire and Not Die, another great book to give to clients who are thinking of retiring. It states that retirement is not a walk in the park. You have to have a plan. You have to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life. 3 things that everyone needs in retirement: passion, purpose, and a plan. The 3 P's that will keep you young and help you retire and not die. A Dr. Seuss book. Clients of yours that have a new grandchild, send them this Dr. Seuss book. £10, the value is enormous. And The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Sent this to quite a few clients during COVID and still use it now. The clients that had the Porsche, they told me that their daughter had anxiety Eventually told me why, that she'd been raped twice. So I sent her the book with a personal message. And this is the response I had back. We've had delivery of your book, and I've just read it through. It sent tingles down my spine. It was so beautifully written. Thank you for your kindness. I will pass it to Emma, who's their daughter. Use special client cards. So make them more personal. My PA was talking to a client just before Christmas, got engaged, so sent them a card with their names on. Congratulations on your engagement. One of them last year told me on the 31st of December, they were celebrating their silver wedding anniversary. So again, I sent them a card, but with their name on. Clients will tell you things that are happening in their life or what they're about to celebrate. So react to them. You always get a lovely message back, and they cost very little. My top 10 clients get a Christmas gift. So this year, my top 4 got a large case of wine. They've got 2 million of funds under management. The next 6 got smaller case. The total cost was £913. But the fee income from these clients is £106,218 per annum. So what I spend is a drop in the ocean compared to what income they give Gemini. So worth every penny. So little things that matter in this world. So I send a postcard after every review meeting that's relevant to them and a message about the meeting. I think today everybody's emailed out to death, so it's something different. I use a website called Yazzle, and you can get messages like, if somebody's a bit reluctant to spend money, there's a card, life is too short to wait. Another one, life is a fabulous adventure. Never let anybody dull your sparkle. You only live once. There's lots and lots of cards. So I use those a lot. And as I've got older, something shifted for me. Success stopped being about accumulation and started being about contribution. Giving back grounds you and reframes why we do what we do. I'm incredibly proud to say I'm a trustee on the MDRT Foundation Board, the charitable arm of MDRT. And it's been a real privilege seeing firsthand how much good this organisation does, and generally has reframed my thinking. I do want to have a little gentle word about the message I put on the MDRT WhatsApp group about Gives Day on the 25th of March. I did ask for all volunteers. Nobody's come forward. Michael and Helen had put their name forward. I just need a handful of people to help for Gives Day. So send me a message. It'd be great to have some more people helping on Gives Day, because the UK members have benefited significantly from the foundation grants. Real money going to real charities, changing real lives. It's an opportunity for the UK. The final point on this slide, early in my career, money was a scorecard. Revenue, assets under management, targets. That's how I measured progress. And to be fair, it worked for a while. But after getting more involved with philanthropy, and especially through my role with the MDRT Foundation, something shifted. I remember seeing a grant going to a charity and realizing that money wasn't impressive because of the number, it was impressive because of what it did. It removed stress from families, it funded support that generally changed lives. That's when it clicked for me. Money isn't the scorecard, it's the tool. Once you see that, it changes how you advise clients. The conversation moves from how much more to what for. And ironically, when money stopped being a scorecard, the work became more meaningful and the business became stronger too. As the great Winston Churchill said, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Finally, we are incredibly lucky to do work that generally changes lives. If we stay intentional, generous, and relevant, this can be one of the most rewarding professions there is. So if I can leave you with this, everything today, it's about protecting your energy, earn your fee every year, stay human, give back, because it changes you as much as it changes others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Metcalf. Great messages there, Gary. Thanks for that. Staying relevant, earning fees, some great ideas to stay in our clients' hearts and minds. And yeah, staying relevant with a big R. Thank you so much, Gary. So without further ado, I'm about to bring on stage MDRT UK's very own Tom Cruise, or Johnny Depp, or I think we're just running out of superlatives for this guy. He's either swimming with sharks, he's horseback riding somewhere, he's off to Africa. But for today, our very own Tom Cruise would like to share with us his Southern Ocean lessons for life. Over you, Tom Cruise.
Right, morning all. Thank you for staying on for the last 15 minutes. Some of you will know that I took quite a bit of time out last year. That was a Freudian slip because I'll be doing it this year again, away from my business. And before I dive into what I can bring back from the Southern Ocean, because I thought about it quite a lot while I was there in terms of how does it relate to what we guys do. Michael did ask me earlier in the week, why? It's a very, very good question. Craig has also asked me a similar question. And this is not my phrase or quote about it, but why not? There is something quite inspiring about the work that we do, in that our clients are really inspirational to us. And quite often the things that I go off and do have been inspired by what my clients are also doing. So I've got 6 lessons that I've brought back from the Southern Ocean, but they relate directly to what we do. And what was very interesting about being in that environment, because if you don't know, it is ultra hostile. It is not meant for humans. So these 6 lessons, we all know these lessons, but I think we've cotton wooled some of these lessons in that we know them, but we're not necessarily playing out to them. And the first lesson that I brought home is we are way more capable than we think we are. When we know there is no exit, and this plays out to Sarah Hogan's journey in her business, there was no exit. She had to be consistent. She had to have endurance with them. She had to be motivated. So my number 1 lesson here is don't think you're done. I've used the mantra for years that I'm only a 4 out of 10. A famous writer called David Goggins stole it from me and called it 40%. But I have lived by that for the last 20 years. Whenever I think that I'm done, I remind myself there's still 6 more points in that score of 10 that I could achieve. So we are all way more capable of whatever it is in life that we want to achieve. Lesson 2 is around discomfort. Lots of us, when things get uncomfortable, we shy away from it. But I can tell you now, discomfort is not your enemy. Out in the Southern Ocean, you're cold, you're fatigued, you're suffering the pain of the cold, but it is only temporary. And you have to work through it. I can't get off in that environment. I can't say, drop me off at the next island, because just go and take a look at the map after this call and see what's between South Africa and Australia. Not much. Nobody lives there. So when you know that there is no way out, you're feeling uncomfortable, you're thinking, I just don't want to do this anymore, stop. Let discomfort be your ally. Lesson 3 that I brought back was, and this sounds dramatic, but we can still take it into our working lives, the ability to be adaptable is what keeps us alive. When we're running businesses, we often, maybe not quite this community because we're all very absorbent of ideas being part of MDRT, but lots of people in business go, we've always done it like that, so we're always going to do it that way. Fatal. Can you imagine what it would be like in the Southern Ocean if you say, no, this is the way we've always sailed the boat, we're always going to sail the boat this way, what's going to happen? Probably something quite nasty, could be fatal, could break yourself, you could break the boat. So we have to be adaptable, and no time better than today, January the 8th, to think, right, next 12 months we've got to adapt to what's ahead of us. In the last few years, we've all had to deal with consumer duty, and I suspect lots of advisors have really struggled with that, but I would suspect all of you guys here have embraced all that, and you've grown your business as a consequence of that. So rigidity is going to hold us back. We have to be adaptable, we have to be flexible, we have to solve these problems. And lesson number 4, this is about teams. Most of us have got people that are helping us grow our businesses. And before I get into the lesson point here, I spent nearly 5 months away from my business last year in total, doing all of the crazy things that Michael mentioned earlier and a few more. And my business continued to grow. Not trying to out-trump you, Gary, but we onboarded, bearing in mind that I am the only advisor in this practice, 9.2 million last year. Not bragging, but that just tells you, if I get out of the way, great things can happen. So lesson number 4 is ego. Our egos are in danger of weakening our team. We have to build a team that we can let fly, let sail, literally and metaphorically, because believe me, if you get the right people in your team, you empower them, they become quietly competent, quietly confident, and they'll love your business not quite as much as you do, but they'll love it and look after it for you. I was away for nearly 6 weeks, and they created their own work projects, kept in contact with my clients, so lots of emails from the office of Martin Dodd contacting you about this. I'd empowered them. I got my ego out of the way, and I can tell you now, my ego can be way bigger than it needs to be, but I've had to put that in a box for the benefit of my clients and the benefit of my business. Lesson number 5, not dissimilar. Nobody's coming to rescue us. If things are not right, we have to live with what's going on. And when you know there is no rescuer coming, metaphorically or in business, we have to stay with the business. We have to remain responsible. There's no miracles coming, and we have to find a solution. So as we go into this new year, if you just take one of these lessons, just remember, nobody's coming to rescue you. You have to find the solutions. You have to take responsibility, sharpen that pen, and whatever that challenge is, I know within this community, there is an answer. And my final lesson, lesson number 6, is about fear. I thought this was probably my biggest learning point, because no end of people have said to me, were you ever frightened? And just to put some context on it, we had winds of over 50 miles an hour, which we've got a big storm coming tonight in the UK. And there's an even bigger storm, which Sarah will be aware of, off the northern tip of New Zealand and Australia. Wind is a very frightening thing at sea because that led to sea waves with a height of 6 to 7 meters. Now go outside your home or your office and just have a look at your building. If it's 2 stories high, those waves are bigger than a 2-story building. So was I ever fearful? Strangely enough, I wasn't fearful, because the only place where we can ever allow fear to reside is in the future. Just analyze when you've been fearful. It is rarely about now. It's about something that might happen. And if we've ever analysed what we're fearful of, have you realised that most of the times that we're fearful of, the things that we're fearful of, never can't work out like that? They don't, it doesn't happen that way. So I lived absolutely in the moment. The past was very much the past. You had to live in the moment. The only little bit of future thinking that I could allow myself was when I was going to come off watch and get into that sleeping bag, because I spent 3.5 weeks soaking wet most of the time. There is no heating downstairs on these boats, so we're living at sub 5 degrees. That's very cold, Sarah, if you're in Fahrenheit. Very nearly freezing with driving rain and sleet. So you long to get in that sleeping bag just so that you could raise that temperature just 1 or 2 degrees. So fear is only in the future. We have to live present-minded. And fear of what's going to happen in the future stops us achieving what we need to do today. It stops us forward planning, because we're fearful that if we try this, it won't work. We've always done it like this, so we get in this cycle of fear. So that was my 6 very short lessons. I had 15 minutes. I've done it in 13. It was an incredibly engaging experience for me, and I feel it enhanced me, will live with me forever, so much so that I am going to do another leg. I will be crossing the Atlantic in June this year, and in a couple of years' time, when the race restarts, its next cycle, if I can get family consent, my ambition is to sail across the Pacific, which is 8.5 miles, and will take nearly 40 days to do it. It is brutal. It's not for everybody. And my final point here about doing this leg is I don't dislike anybody enough to recommend that they do it. Just to reiterate that, I don't dislike anybody enough to recommend they do it. If you want to do it, you have to find your own way to get there.
Yeah.
And that's it from me, Michael. Somebody seems to have jumped on the screen there. Are you still there, Michael?
I'm still here.
Yeah.
I think we need to unpin Simon, or if you could mute himself, that would be helpful.
Yeah. So that was it from me, Michael.
Martin, thanks so much for that. Wow. Listen, people, you've had 3 great speakers today. We had Sarah, who key messages there were invest in you, asking us a question, when did your biggest breakthroughs happen? And that we have to adapt. And she also left us with that the obstacle is the door, leading straight into Gary there, who was talking about staying relevant. You know, you don't just earn the fee by having an annual review. What we do is we earn the fees all through the year and we stay relevant. And for Gary's own point, he felt he became more relevant when he went beyond his own numbers and what could he contribute? What could he give back? So ask yourself that question. What are you contributing? What are you giving back? He also put up a call to arms there that we do have a Just Gives Day. So if you haven't messaged him already, please take a leaf out of his book, stand up, help us contribute. It affects our communities. One charity that I've supported over the years has had over $50,000 to help create kids' wishes for seriously and terminally ill kids. So it's not just pie in the sky. This is real and it can have a great impact. And then we had our very own Danger Man himself, Martin, asking us the question, well, not why, as in what's your why, from the esteemed Simon Sinek, but he's put his own twist on that. It's like, why not? And another question is, why not me? Okay, so whatever you're up to for the rest of this year, why not? And we talk about this Japanese word, this misogi, doing something that really scares you once a year just to get out that comfort zone. I would encourage you to think about your own misogi. What are you going to do that scares you, and what will you find on the other side of that? And as Martin says, fear isn't a thing we should really be afraid of, because it only lives in our imagination and it only lives in that future place. It doesn't live in today. So speaking about today, conscious that we're all busy, a couple of bits of housekeeping. Point one is we have the PFS MDRT day next month. If any of you want to come and have dinner with us on the 9th, please let me know before we close the doors on the numbers. We are at capacity. We're at 350 people, which is amazing. And we've probably got about 40 on the waiting list. So we're really looking forward to it. Got some great speakers, a sample of which obviously you've seen today. We won't be having a Zoom next month in February because we're doing the conference with PFS in good old London town. So if you haven't booked your membership, if you haven't booked your flights, then please get on it. And we look forward to seeing you in March and hopefully some more of you in Anaheim this year. Go well, people.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks,
Have
Michael.
a great day.
See you all.
See ya.
Bye, bye, bye.
Amazing morning.